boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. I don't know what's going on with the YouTube. YouTube says it's on private. I have to figure out, make some changes in the background on that one. But we got Albert in the house. Good morning to you. Bill, Corey, Donna, Frank, Greg. We got Jay in the house. Good morning to you. Jeff, JT, Lauren, Marius. Good morning to all you guys. I think we got some people trying to figure out where the link is to get in because we're on that new one, but you guys found it. So we'll see. We'll see if we could get some people to find that link. Let me just make sure nobody's having an issue getting in. You guys all found it decently in the new way to do it. Let's see, main channel. Let me just make sure to catch up. Joe is having some trouble. Hold on one second. Let me just share a link. We're almost there. It's coming along. It's coming along. Participants, yeah. Yep, I'm not able to find a link. Martha might have to help with that one. But let's take a look at the market. So we got Frank says I found the invite and new password in my junk folder. Oh no. If you go to, once you're in to the new dashboard, if you go to reallifetrading.com, it should be the first one that comes up. And then as long as your computer saves passwords and stuff, I think you have to just enter it one time and then you should be okay. But yeah, navigating it the first time, I think probably like anything, it's takes a minute. But we got this SPY with a little bit of a gap up, so we got a. Jeff says I need a decoder ring for the new website. Yeah, I at first I was like, I'm confused, but it makes more sense. It's just figure out the right links and just how to navigate. But we got SPY with a little bit of a gap up into a little bit of resistance. Even pre-market right now, we're starting to push a little bit further. So interesting that the market is going to go a little bit more bullish today. It is a retest gap as well. And we're starting to get right back into this. Again, we said there was pretty much two scenarios that I see. And this is, again, the first little resistance was right here. Second one was right here, which we kind of hit. We're above that one from the gap up of yesterday. We used that as support, which is nice. And now we're opening into a little resistance. I think we got to get really past up here. So wherever that marking is for scenario 2, where we break out and we just continue bullish. But not a lot of news, at least this week, coming out. So that would take us up to 522.74. That's a really stretch target, I think, for today. I would say a regular stretch target would probably be 520.27 would be a big one. But even before that, we're going to start to run into 519.60. We got 518.60, 518.59, somewhere in that zone. And then right where we're opening. So again, a little bit of retest. There's a lot of resistance above us. Even though the market feels a little bit more to the bullish side, I think our risk to reward is actually to the downside on things. Not that I really want to aggressively go short, but at least probably not bullish at open. We'll see. Support. Well, I'm going to want to see yesterday's VPOC hold. So somewhere around 514.43. We'll see if that one wants to hold. We got the Qs. Everything is classes. Yes. So the way they categorize it. So yeah, at least for now, unless they change it over. But yeah, right now it's all set as if it was a class, I guess. Qs, and again, I don't know the back end of it. I haven't seen the back end of it, but I'm sure there's a way they could kind of re-separate it. I don't know if they're at that step yet. Qs, so that one has a little gap up, not as much as the SPY, which is actually interesting. Because a lot of the SPY names are the ones getting kind of beat up a little bit, but Qs right into that resistance. So again, we're still right into the zone. I'd want to see, and probably the high end of today of 440.92. If we could break through that, then we got a little bit more room, a little bit more wiggle room up to the top. So 443.17 would be a big one. And then a monster target today would be 445.95. Otherwise, that resistance is going to cause a little probably chaos at open. We got 483.14. To the downside, let me see. I got a couple people saying try and mark this link, but it says another meeting's in progress. Hold on one second. Uh, participants. See, I can't even invite people. Which is interesting. Usually, if I click on participants in Zoom, it gives me an option to invite attendees, but I don't have that one, so I don't know. Don't know. All right, we got TLT. I tried the Zoom this morning. I was like, okay, it opens. We should be good, but all right, got some more kinks to work out. We got TLT, so that's got a little bit of a jump up higher. So nice little bounce on that one. Again, that's going to be some lower yields. We do have some a little resistance on this one, 91.10, and then we got 91.26. And then you guys are saying Disney. Yeah, so Disney had earnings, which were bad on earnings per share. They did miss on the revenue portion. And I think the conference probably just ended. But they were trying to hang into this 110 zone, which would have been an interesting spot. I guess we're still kind of opening at like a secondary interesting spot, but pretty bearish on that one. We should be trapping some bulls on this one. Really, any bulls that started to buy on February 27th. That's a decent amount of time to trap any of the bulls. This is the big candle right here, and I think even more so than the bottom of that candle, we do have to look at this little support. So see if we start breaking down 107.53. Otherwise, this should be a little bit of a bounce spot. The earnings per share not great, but I think more of the forecast on the revenue took it down from the 110 to the 107. So pretty fairly large gap. $7. We are definitely trapping some bulls. And then we do have a wide open gap. If we start to break down that level we were just talking about, I think we do have a lot of room. It might not be easy because we have some moving averages coming in, but I think that takes us back to 100, slightly under, back to $99. Looking for a gap fill, and then I think there's probably some buyers down there, I would assume. So all depends on what happens in the next 20 minutes, but this one, I could see the faded open, but as soon as that thing starts to break down, I don't think I'd want to be leaning bullish with just that many bulls being trapped on this one. Let's get this one a little bit higher. Probably again, let the dust settle at the open for a couple minutes because it's going to be pure emotion out of the gate for probably a lot of people, bullish or bearish. Datadog. Yeah, I think they also no, they beat on both earnings per share. They beat on revenue. I think their forecast was a little bit toward the lower end of the guide. But this would be another one I think that is trapping a decent amount of bulls. We got the 200 coming in. So for the short side of things, I probably like Disney a little bit better if Disney wants to break that last level. I don't know how this one's going to act around this. This is a big gap too. It's about $11 to the downside. Interesting. We'll get that up there too. I think Datadog might be a little more of a fade. Earnings were good on that one. Just forecast a little bit, still within the range toward the lower end, and then you got the 200. So I think I'd probably want to try to fade Datadog over Disney if I had the opportunity. Peloton buyout rumors. From who? Who would like to buy them out? Private equity firm considers. So it's just rumors, yeah. No done deal yet. A number of private equity firms have been considering a buyout on Peloton as Connected Fitness company looks to refinance its debt. Interesting. Yeah, definitely a huge short flow. Let's see. I'm trying to see if they have there's probably been no prices out there, just the rumors of it happening. Shares of Fitness rose 18%, 18.6. Every time this company gets good news, they get absolutely clobbered on it. Like anytime they've had good I don't know if they've had good earnings, but anytime they have a potential rumor, I think they start getting into the exercise bikes. I think there was potential they sell on Amazon. Every single one of those news situations, they have been a fade. 15.6% short float, and you're taking out this just monster of a volume candle, which did come on earnings. Most of that was actually a retest gap, believe it or not. How bad were these earnings? Yeah, they're still losing money. They surprised 900K to the downside. Not looking great. I think there's probably some maybe trap. I don't know. I don't know how many bulls were in this last move. And I think any bulls in this one probably are bag holding from higher pricing, like much higher pricing, I would assume. Even this little level of support down here. You got that support down there. There's probably people buying. This might be an opportunity to get out, and there is that resistance in there too. So I don't know how the short float is going to play into this, and I hope it does good. But rumors, not sure exactly which firms are interested in buying Peloton, or really why they would be interested. Company doesn't do too well, but all right. So they got a little positivity. That's a monster gap already into some kind of resistance. I'll throw it on the list to watch it. I don't know. It's also under $5 at this point, so that makes it tougher to day trade too. For a swing trade basis, though, I don't even want to swing trade it. Never mind. I was gonna say for a swing trade, if we do sell off a little bit, the only way I think I could play it is just invest an R into it. So whatever your R is, that's how many shares you could buy. And then if it goes to zero, it goes to zero. And you're like, okay, I lost an R. Probably be how I would be looking to play it. And then on the other foot, like if they do get bought out and somebody actually wants to pay money for them, all right, you can see the upside benefit to it. And even if you want to throw stops, I would say probably underneath this candle somewhere, get yourself a couple extra shares by doing that, as opposed to an absolute zero type setup. But that's a big resistance that we're gapping into for sure. The other rumor, which is again it's a rumor, so it's not confirmed, would be Rivian. Not so much on the rumor aspect. We do have earnings coming out tonight, so we'll see what happens. We've seen stocks run up pre-market, like pre-earnings. But the rumor is that Apple is interested in buying or partnering with a EV company. And I think the market is kind of looking at Rivian going, you might be positioned pretty well for some kind of a buyout or partnership from Apple. So we'll see what happens on that one, but you're getting a nice little bump on a potential Apple deal, Apple partnership. The one thing is you do have earnings tonight. So for me, unless you're prepared to sit through the earnings or position yourself into it, just be aware that there's earnings tonight. Because anything that happens today, just like Donna's saying, Palantir, just like anything happening on Rivian or Palantir could also happen on Rivian. It'd be probably a little bit more suspect to do so. But valuation is kind of low. I of course I sold calls against my positions. I've got an active wheel strategy going on Rivian. So I had the last one at $14. I did raise that up, so I'm happy about that. I'll make money either way. So if the earnings are good and whatever happens, fine. I'll get taken away at 15. Or to the downside, those calls probably go to worthless, and we get to continue on the little wheel strategy that we got going. So I'm positioned for it. We'll see what happens. That's still almost I mean, by the time I got that position yesterday, we'll re-up that position. I was like, is Rivian going to move 50% on earnings? Man, that would be crazy. I'm not gonna put it past them. They might. There's another high short flow company. If they come out with any surprise, and then they even mention anything about Apple, I think it's probably too soon. Where I don't think they do, but we'll see. But this one I wouldn't mind looking for a day trade on, just because we've seen the run up on. I mean, I think Palantir did 8% yesterday. It was very similar to the Palantir did what Coinbase did. I think on earnings day they moved well a little less. I think Coinbase was up like 9-10%, and Coinbase's earnings were pretty good. Palantir's earnings were pretty fantastic as well. Um, we're getting some people that can't get in. Uh, and I don't have access to grab a link to invite people. Do you guys all have the previous link? What I'm thinking is maybe we just shut down this room and we just go back to the regular one again. I don't want to leave anybody out. Type a quick one if that's good with you guys. If we just shut this one down and if you have access to the other link. All right. All right, let's do that. Let's meeting adjourned. Meeting adjourned. I'll open up the other one for everybody. See you guys soon.